BTC trading at 98. It was a little bit lower earlier, but we've just had a massive sell-off in the market. So we're going to deal with the news and what caused that sell-off. But today, it's all about a couple of more catalysts that we have. We've been building up catalysts all week with why we should be bullish or why we should be turning bullish. I've got two more for you guys today. It's also Friday. We're going to tee up the weekend. I've got DJ and Dave in the house. I've got tons of setups after that sell-off. So what are we waiting for? Let's get right into this. And remember, guys, as always, hit the like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe, and we are on Crypto Live. This is the new channel. So if you're wondering where I've come from, I'm always on Banter Plus, Crypto Banter Plus. You catch me there Monday to Friday, weekdays this time, okay, doing all this type of trading content. And if you're new to this channel or you're following me here, like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell, and occasionally live things happen. So what else is going on? Look there, brought the man in, the gun from Hackers. He's here. Okay, he's got a setup for you. Are we going short on something that stopped us out yesterday? Maybe, because it looks good. James is here. James is going to talk about a little bit of things going on there in the market. Welcome, sir. And then Banter Bubbles. Okay, so looking good. Virtual woke up. We spoke about that at length on the Zoom session we did for Hackers this morning. Virtual, nice to see some action there. There's Maker on the right-hand side. It hurt us yesterday. Is it time to roll over? We're going to find out today. Sonic, Old Phantom, that is cooking as well. IP, the story, or whatever it's called. I took a look at that chart. I wanted to cover it for you guys, but I thought it just doesn't look right at the moment. So I need a little bit more time on that one. And I wonder if Shakespeare's pipe is here. Can he tell me in the chats if this man is here? Because Theta is in the middle, and I actually have a Theta chart ready for this guy. He always asks me for Theta, and today's the day. So I hope he's going to be here. And James, better look out for him. But overall, I would say we've had a relatively good day, relatively green, other than that quick little flush out that we just saw in the market. So we're going to talk about what caused that and everything as well. But let's jump straight into BTC. And let's see what's going on. So PMG George wants some Theta. So guys, just in terms of BTC, these are the updates that I drop probably 2 or 3 times a day during the course of the day in Chart Hackers. You get updated with these levels non-stop throughout the day. Okay, so this was our first target that we were looking at earlier today when we had the pump, and we moved into the zone. There were multiple reasons why this 99,200 was going to be some kind of rejection zone. And time again, what happens with crypto when it pumps into a rejection zone? There's some kind of bearish news or something happens in the market, and then you get some kind of flush out. So in terms of what we were expecting, that does make sense as our rejection zone. So we caught a banger short in that area. And then in terms of the oscillators, they are actually looking quite bearish now. So a little bit concerned, in the short term as to what is going on. You can see I've got bearish divergence on the 2 hour. You can see that oscillators printing lower highs. I've got my price action printing higher highs. So we are looking a little bit dangerous at the moment. So the big question is, are we going to break new highs this weekend? Are we going to start getting up above these types of levels, the 99.2, if we're going to continue this type of momentum? So right now, what you need to watch, 99.2, that is your mark in the sand. If we do get a second wind here, let's say this news normalizes itself and the market starts turning back to where we were earlier today, 100K is going to be a level that you need to watch. This is our anchored VWAP from the highs. This is a dangerous zone here. I've also got a wick fill in that area. So 100,100, that is your next big rejection zone on BTC. Now, in terms of support, when we saw this thing falling over, the first thing you do is you grab your fibs, you look at your key fib levels, and you look for confluence. And once again, you cannot make this stuff up. Look at this. We just pulled a fib here. The market sold off. What did it bounce off? To the actual dollar. I mean, we can't make this up. To the dollar on the 382. Okay, so when the market's falling over, that's what you can use as your guide. Here we go, and a beautiful reaction off that 382. So in terms of support now, that is going to be your main support marker for this weekend, 97K. If we start losing that, then we are looking at 96,400. That's going to be your next danger zone. So 97K, let's watch that. 96,400, let's watch that. And then in terms of short-term support, for all the DGen traders today, what you could watch is 98,000 on the button. So these levels will all be in Chart Hackers. Remember, after the show, all these charts get posted on Chart Hackers for you guys. So PM George says, can I make the bounce? What does he say? Can I make a bounce or cut it off low? What? A t-shirt. I like that one because I've got a bounce or cut it off trade coming for you guys today. Okay, it's coming. It's a bounce or cut it off moment for one of these tokens that we are going to be talking about. Okay, so BTC on the 2 hour, guys, those are your levels. That is what you need to be watching. Do I have a crystal ball as to what happens this weekend? No, but we can speculate. What I thought initially after that news came out in that sell-off, possibly entries for the weekend for the big guys, and maybe they want to send it higher. So they probably use that as an opportunity to flush some people out. Maybe we could start leaning bullish. In terms of BTC on the daily, I'm going to show you the daily chart. That thing is looking relatively bullish for us, but we've got a war zone ahead of us. I'm going to take you through that chart. You're going to be well covered today. Okay, and then in terms of scalp trades, we did jump in after that sell-off. We did jump into a scalp giga long. Okay, so I've just jumped into a tiny giga long on Lbank, and you can see that area there. We're going to talk through this one at length in a couple of minutes, but looking for a short-term bounce on this giga at the moment. So current market price, it has bounced a little bit, but the support I'm using is 2829 at the moment, and I'm just looking for a little reversal there on the oscillator. Short-term little move potentially. We'll talk through this chart in a couple of minutes. Now, let's get into this. So this is how we felt about 2 hours ago. I mean, we were thinking, is this it? Like, is this the moment? I mean, that was actually me. Not long ago. I was doing this in private. Like, that was me. Okay. We're going down. Okay. And then what happens? What happens next? This. Bang. Okay, Bybit official hot wallet gets hacked. Okay, though it's a multi-sig, 1.5 billion worth of ETH was withdrawn to the new address and is currently being sold. Okay, that's enough to stir some kind of panic in the market. Can you imagine what happened on Bybit? Can you imagine the panic with people now selling and exiting positions on Bybit? What happens when you do that? Dump. Okay, all the tokens started falling over. So it does make sense that there was some kind of sell-off there, and then confirmed from Ben Zhao. Says Ben from Bybit. Okay, I hope I pronounced your name right. So, Bybit ETH multi-sig cold wallet just got a transfer to our warm wallet about an hour ago. It appears the specific transaction was Musk, all the signers or the Musk UI. I don't even speak this stuff. And which showed the correct addresses, blah, blah, blah. Okay, long story, but there was a hack. Okay, and that caused a lot of drama. Is that going to take the shine? Is that going to take the shine off what we thought could be some weekend pumpage with these new catalysts that are coming out on the market? What do you think, sir?
Just getting us some really nice entries because things were too far gone to jump in the top anyway. This is perfect. It's just what we needed.
Weekend entries. Okay, so in theory, we could be okay. Dave?
Yeah, I concur.
Nice.
Concurs? Do we go bull?
I was going to say bold.
Yeah.
Okay, it's hard to call a bull weekend and then come rinse us. That's why we're going to hook you guys up with some head shorts again. Okay, so you covered long, you covered short. We're going to sort you guys out. That's very important for us in hackers, that you guys get covered long and short, and we're going to make sure that you guys are okay. All right, so let's get into a couple of fun things out there. This is Elon Musk. I just thought this was good. This is good watching. I think we need to watch this. This is Elon in an interview. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but basically, I mean, he's turned this whole Fort Knox thing into a show. Okay, the ratings on a live broadcast of a Fort Knox would be absolute fire. Now look at this guy. I mean, can you believe this guy's in government now? Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah. What's going on with? Tell us about Fort Knox. Yeah. It's Kentucky. It's a military base. It's a ton of gold, tons and tons and tons
like
of gold.
5,000 tons of gold or
5,000 tons of gold are there in the ground and like this. I mean, it's a very secure
I think
thing.
we all want to see it. You know?
I'd love to see it.
Like, this is your gold, by the way. It's the public's gold.
Do you think it's not there?
I don't know. But I think
We just want to see it.
Yeah, we want to go see it and just make sure like somebody did a spray paint some lead or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, is this real gold?
I mean, he's joking, but he might not be.
You know?
Didn't then.
But I think, honestly, you know, part of this also is just like, let's have some fun and you know, like I said, all this gold at Fort Knox, it's the public's gold. It's your gold. So, like, I think you have like a right to see it.
Take a tour?
You know.
Okay, you get the picture, but I mean, I think it's good. I think it's a positive thing. They need to do this, but there's so many scenarios playing out there. What if they have too much? How does that affect the market? What if they have too little or less than estimated? How does that affect the market? So either way, I think there's going to be fun and games. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if they can risk getting this, the gold or not correlating to what it's supposed to be. I don't know if they can take that risk on. So it's going to be interesting nonetheless. And then Michael Saylor bull posting and talking bullish stuff. I'm not going to play this video, but he says there's only room for one nation state to buy 20% of BT supply. And he thinks that's going to be the United States. That's obviously super bullish at the moment as well with what is going down. Now, Finance a Lot is talking about China's M1 money supply. This is obviously a liquidity injection into the markets. This is obviously super bullish for all of us as well. China's M1 money supply jumped from 67 trillion in December 24 to 112 in January 25 because they changed how it was calculated. Okay, notice the rapid decline in M1 in 24. The only reason you do this is to mask liquidity injections you're using to fend off a deflationary debt spiral. Okay, so that's his view on the current situation. You know, there's obviously views that this is super bullish for what is going on. And oh, wait, we got that one mixed up there. Where's it? Okay, and then Marty Party has shown the Chinese central bank balance sheet. That thing is pushing higher as well. And then Ben Cowan came out and he kind of just stopped all the bull posters and he actually said, hang on, okay? He says, everyone keeps posting about China's doubling their money supply overnight. He says, any ounce of critical thinking would make it obvious that this didn't happen. They announced 2 months ago they were expanding the scope of this metric. And he's saying crypto Twitter is exhausting. Okay, well, it looks good on the chart. And you know what? The guys like to bull post that shit. Okay, so it sounds like another liquidity injection. It's sounding nice and positive there. And I see JR's in the house here. He's saying hackers assemble. It is like a bit of an army at the moment, isn't it? Let's see in the chats here. How's everyone going? What's going on? I see Heshlock is here. What's cracking? And Chinkatron is here. How are you, Daddy Till? Okay, what's going on? Where's the hackers? The hackers here. All the hackers are here. This is good. This is good stuff. Okay, let's go into the other bit of big news today. And Coinbase. So the SEC staff have agreed to dismiss their case against Coinbase. Okay, so this is obviously big news. James, how big is this in your opinion? I saw you were quite excited about this.
Well, it's massive, yeah. The fact that they're dropping that is, I mean, and more so, this is important that they're dropping this, but it also goes to show that this administration is going to actually do what they said they're going to do. Because they can make all kinds of promises on the campaign trail, but following through with it, and we saw that where they got rid of, I think it was 60 of their top prosecutors were shoved to IT department that were the ones that were prosecuting everyone. They're now actually dropping lawsuits that had no bearing in the first place. Next in line, of course, is XRP. That's the other big suit that's open that hasn't appeal, and lots of speculation there today. But this is just a really good sign that this is actually going to be a pro-crypto administration. That's the biggest part of the news.
Okay. So positive overall. We'll call it catalyst. Okay, we'll call it the catalyst. Okay. I see the chats are coming through hot here as well. Okay, everyone's here in the chats. It's nice to have everybody move over. Remember, anybody new, welcome. Okay, hit the like and subscribe. This is the new channel, and obviously all the hackers that watch on Banter Plus, like and subscribe here as well. You know what to do. Okay, let's go. Let's get into some more action out there. This is the S&P. This is obviously important. It's a nice driver. It tells us what is going on in sentiment in the US market, obviously. So I like to track this one, and you can see the S&P rejecting from the highs. So a little bit of a concern here for us on that S&P, and the oscillators are looking a little bit sad. There is a hint of bearish divergence here as well on the daily. You can see the price action going higher, all-time highs, and the oscillator printing a little bit lower, money flow starting to turn over a little bit as well. So potentially a little bit bearish here for the S&P 500. We're gonna have to watch this one closely. In terms of bounce zones, this is it. It's a typical trend break and retest. Look at that trend horizontal. You'll probably find a 382 or 618 in line with that as well. So 6,100 is your support you're watching at the moment. And then if they do dip us lower down, bang, we've got a little level there. 6,000 is your next number. Call it 6,030 is what you're going to be watching on the S&P. So fun to trade. Obviously not as exciting as the shit coins, but a bit more of a slower mover. Okay. So guys, BTC, we're going to have to watch this one closely. If this thing starts falling over, we're going to need to get into a couple more shorts. Now, I closed some of those head shorts that we were in earlier today, and hopefully it wasn't too early. Let's talk BTC on the daily. So the first thing I want to show you guys and just point out to everybody here is let's not panic, okay? But there's a couple of things we need to know. Firstly, there's actually one range you need to worry about right now for Bitcoin, and that is your 100K highs, and that is your 95K range lows. Okay, that is all you need to know. So all the stuff happening in between here is actually just noise, and it's fun and games with whatever's going on. Where can we really start flipping bullish? For me, it's when we close above this type of area, that 99-100K. If we're getting candle closes above that area, I would say, guys, yes, okay, let's turn on the taps here. Let's get a little bit more aggressive. But until then, we need to be measured. We need to be careful with how we are playing things. So right now, all we've done with Bitcoin is trade to the highs of the range. And now there's a very good possibility that they can send us back down to the lows of the range at the 95K level once again before we start the process. So we've got a range in play. We can trade this range in theory until it breaks. So just a word of caution here. The only thing in our favor for the bulls on the daily is a nice bullish divergence print here. So the oscillator is looking quite aggressive. It is telling us that we do want to churn higher on the daily. So in spite of the short-term stuff that is telling us, look, maybe on the lower time frames, we are going to start turning over. For example, this oscillator, look at that printing bearish divergence here, starting to fall over. So that tells us we might have, you know, the next period of a day or so, maybe a little bit more bearish than we want, and then we get some kind of secondary move out of BTC. So just a little bit of information there for you guys to watch. What you can track, which is actually an absolute thing of beauty, is the liquidation heat map. And I've been tracking this one on the 3-day, and this is how we got these liquidation levels so clean earlier today. When we were looking at the chart, when I highlighted this zone, the liquidity zone, we were chasing that area to the upside. You can see they've cleaned this whole region out now for us on the upside, and you can see all the juice of all the late longers now is sitting here. Look at this, all the way down to 96K, looks amazing. And then 93K, dare I say it, it looks incredible. We don't want to go there, okay? But it is on the chart, and it is a zone of interest here. So 96, 93 do make sense to us as possible gains this weekend, okay? So make sure you tie that in to some of your levels. Here's your 96. That is going to be your 0.5. You got VWAP action here as well. So that could be an interesting area for you guys to pay attention to. So these charts will obviously be in chart hackers for everybody as we go on. Now, Alex Becker, the man buying, what did he say? He dumped his soul. What did he say, James? He dumped his soul and he bought ETH and he bought Cardano, ADA, okay? Now he's saying the most hated alt season in history has begun. Put on a diaper. Do not leave the computer. I mean, have you ever done that? Have you ever done that, James?
No, the diapers are messy. I just got one of those handicapped toilet chairs that I leave at the desk here.
Nice, yeah. Nice. Dave, do you do that as well? Do you wear the diaper? I wear the diaper, personally.
I do not, unfortunately.
When I'm getting locked in, bro, you got to go. You got to go to the diaper. Okay. So Alex Becker's bullish. Okay. He's got a massive account. So people obviously like what he has to say. And then, this was from King Yongju. Okay. This is what he had to say earlier this morning. He says, no direct BTC to alt rotation. Stablecoin holders are favoring alts. Alt volume is 2.7x BTC. Dominance no longer defines alt season, according to him. Trading volume does. It's very selective alt season. So I suppose there's an argument for that. We have seen like these alts aren't pumping like simultaneously. They aren't all going up. It's individuals moving. It's individual narratives doing things. We saw yesterday with Bearer Chain, Story was moving. We saw Sonic. Those guys were all lots of energy behind them and things like that. So yeah, I think we just need to bat a little bit smarter here in how we choose things and how we go about trading. But I mean, the fun is never going to stop here. And watching dominance is obviously key for us. So remember, if we're tracking dominance, we are predominantly altcoin interested traders, and we obviously want to see dominance coming down. So for me, this dominance must reject. We are now banging into, after that dump today, no coincidence again, we dropped this level in chart hackers earlier today. I said to the guys, 61.47%, look for that rejection there if there is a dump in the market. And you can see what happened to the dollar. Look at that, 61.47 rejection off that level. So it's nice to see fibs getting respected on the dominance chart, but what that tells us is we can use basic TA on the dominance chart to guide us. If the market is falling over, the alts are dumping, and we've got dominance pumping, and we're trying to figure out where we can get a bounce on the alts, we're tying up our alts on support, and we're looking at dominance at resistance zones or rejection areas. So that is why this chart is super helpful. Now, in terms of this weekend, if we want to stay bullish, we need this dominance to actually start rejecting properly here. So I would be very cautious until we start seeing a red dominance candle here. We want to see this thing start flowing to the downside nicely. If we get a bit of momentum there, then these alts are going to start pumping again. But until then, let's watch the 61.47%. If we start cracking through there, we got paid. We've got alt pain until 62.27. So pay attention to that. That is what you guys need to pay attention to. John says, Lord of Entry involving into the king of entry. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, John. Okay, guys, if you want this type of action, you can do my accelerator school if you want to learn how I go about things, like all this basic TA that I'm showing you, the reactions of these zones, the VWAPs, the fibs, all this stuff. You can do my accelerator course. It's super, super simple. It's short and it's concise for you guys so that you can understand in 10 days how you can trade and how you can do these things. So for example, here it is. All you need to do is go into the show description, go under the show, click on that, sign up for my accelerator school. It's there for you guys. You're going to understand why I know these things. Okay, why do I figure this out? How did I know that Bitcoin was going to bounce there? How did I know that Bitcoin was going to bounce here? Okay, that's you can do through the accelerator course. I'm going to teach you all of that stuff. Very short and sweet for you guys. You'll be trading in no time. Okay, and then what you can obviously do after that is join me and the team. We've got an incredible team in Chart Hackers. Okay, look what we're doing. This is a daily flow of trading setups that I dropped today, including Popcat bouncing in certain areas, talking about the Giga trade that we took earlier today. There's all sorts of stuff going on. Look at our team here. We got chaos here. Here's David's stuff. We're going to bring David on in a sec. Here's David's channel. Look at all these trade setups he's dropping in there. And look what we do here all day long. I'm just dropping updates for you guys. Look how we called this Bitcoin rejection this morning. There's the chart. Okay, ready to go. Everyone wakes up, they have their tea, they look at the chart, they say, okay, cool. That's where we're looking for rejection. What happens? Market pumps, and what happens? We get our rejection, bang, and it's all there. The information is all there for you guys during the course of the day. So if you're trying to up your game, you want to be a better trader, a more efficient trader, come hang out with us in Hackers. The link is in the show description. Okay, keep it super simple. And okay, let's get into some alpha here, guys. Let's talk the big stuff. Let's go. ETH, still so much bull posting on ETH, so much ETF inflow action. Look at this, $48 million again from Lark Davis. He's saying Bitcoin ETFs have seen 200 million outflows. So the guys look like they're rotating into ETH. We saw Ted Pillows yesterday talking about a massive buy on ETH, and then he's talking again today, another 12.9 million worth of ETH. So these guys are buying. Do they know something we don't? Because ETH looks shit. ETH hardly moves, okay? And if we look at the history of ETH, and we've discussed this multiple times on my show, but the last few times we've seen these reversal prints on the 5-day chart on ETH, we've actually had 60 days of chop. 80 days of chop. Are we going to get the same thing again on this ETH chart? So interesting views here on ETH. I'm trying to build an ETH position with hopium that we are going to get some kind of big move eventually out of ETH. So my strategy hasn't changed from day to day. Those that watch the show all the time, you must be sick of it. You can actually tell me the levels in the chat because you must be so tired of hearing me tell you the story. But where am I buying ETH? 2.6, 2.5. And we're buying it at 2,400. That's where we're buying on the way down. Obviously looking for 2,400 to hold. If it doesn't, 2.1. That's your big zone. That's got to be the line in the sand as the lows for the move. If that is your bias, that ETH is going to hold 2.1 and we up only from there, well, then this is the DCA zone. Anywhere, any downside moves on ETH, you're looking to accumulate this thing and start adding to your position size. Now, how do we turn bullish on ETH? With all this buying going on, we know the Trump guys, everyone's buying ETH. Well, we've got a problem, okay? We've got a major problem here to the upside. Now, I'm tracking ETH on the 4-hour. You can see major resistance here at 2,900. That's our 200-day MA. That's our big horizontal level. That's our quantum reactor as well. You'll learn about that in the accelerator course. And that is in the way, offering major resistance for us. So how do we turn bullish on ETH? Simple game plan, or at least in theory, it's a simple game plan. And what I'd like to see as the easiest route would be some kind of aggressive pop, rejection at our 50-day MA, and then buys on any retest of that 2.8 to 2,900 level. That would be super bullish for us on ETH if we do get that move. So if there is an ETH pop, look out for that rejection around 3,000, 3,100, and then we are looking for bullish buys on that pullback. Okay, so that is my strategy there for ETH. Hopefully, it's a strategy that's going to work for us. Hopefully, we are going to play. Hopefully, we are going to play out. I see BMG George. He's obviously getting this one wrong. Yeah, we like small position, big move. Okay, maybe BMG George likes big positions, high leverage. I would be very careful with that. Okay, small positions, big move. That's pretty much what you guys need to do. Matt says, why does uni look like absolute dog shit? I was going to say he doesn't want to study much, this guy, but he's obviously talking about Uniswap at the moment. That could tell us how is Maker looking, by the way? Is that still looking like dog shit?
I think it's looking great, to be honest.
Okay. Who wants a short? Who wants a short? Okay, give us a short. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
The guy, give us a short, bro. Let's see what we got.
All right.
I'm pulling up the screen. Okay, talk to me.
Cool. So I didn't even know you guys took a short yesterday, but I was just going through some charts, looking at some levels, and one that I've been keeping my eye on is Maker, right? So we've got a anchored VWAP dropped from the 3rd of December's highs, and if you zoom in, we are banging right against that anchored VWAP at the moment. We have a 200-day MA, and we also have a point of control, and we have a 382 fib retracement. So dropping a fib from the highs to the low, you can see that we have the 382. So interesting horizontal level. Based on where Bitcoin's at right now, I think this is a great hedge play. And one thing that I've noticed here is that on Chart Prime, we just had our official bearish divergence. So I have entered the trade, and I would say a close above the 200-day MA would be the get the F out of the position, the stop loss. Okay. So
cool.
Yeah. So this is like a double play situation. Okay. So I actually covered this on one of the sessions this week. And so what I'm looking for is a pullback, right? And this is just a simple 382 pullback. Essentially, I've drawn a fib from the wick lows of the 2nd of February. So that was Sunday, all the way to the highs that we've currently had just on the last 4-hour candle close here. And the 382, I love how the 382 fib is tying in with the 50-day MA. So I'm looking for a pullback here, okay? And then I'm looking to flip long right here as well, right? So this is essentially like a double play situation. It's always good if you can nail the trade both directions.
The double whammy.
The double whammy, right? So we're looking for about a 14% move. I think with today's pumps, maybe we'll see some blood on the streets tomorrow, hoping for like a Sunday pump. And yeah, we'll see if Maker plays out here, right? So again, it's just been pumping and pumping and pumping, and there's always some kind of little pullback here, right? So, but this little pullback should be a decent move, right? About 15%, 16%.
Okay, so maybe this is our time to get redeemed, because I got stopped on Maker yesterday. Okay, it looked great on the 2-hour, looked filthy. Okay, now we've had another pop on Maker. We were looking at the Maker chart this morning on the hacker Zoom as well. It's in a deadly resistance zone. Dave, I'm feeling lucky. Okay, this is the best shorter I know. Okay, this guy's a savage. Okay, and if Dave says it's on, there's a good chance it's on. Okay, so we're gonna bring him back for another setup, but hang out a little bit here, Dave. Let's see what else you got. Did you give your prices and your shorts and the levels there? Did they get everything?
Yeah, I mean, I believe so, guys. We're basically at entry right now. So around 1420 is the entry. 4-hour candle close above 1543, I would say, is the stop loss of 1543. Okay. And we're looking to ultimately take full profits at 1224.
Okay, there you go, guys. So that chart is going straight into Chart Hackers as well. It will be there ready and waiting for you guys. Okay, let's get into a couple more things. So Dave, I have started that Maker short on Bank. Okay, remember guys, we're running an Bank competition at the moment, and you're not going to let me win. Okay, you guys cannot let me win. Okay, at some point I'm going to stop trading here. So there are prizes here for you guys. First prize, $2,000. Second prize, $1,000. Third prize, $500, and it's exclusively available to Hackers members and people that watch the show. So all you need to do is sign up to the link in the description. I'm 144% up here. don't let me win, guys. Come and take me out, okay? Especially the hackers guys. I want you guys to tag me there in the chats. I want to see where all the hackers guys are. I know Chaos was floating around here. He was 8 or 9 or something earlier today. I wonder if he's in the chats here. I wonder how he is going. So if you want to take part in this LBank competition, the links are here, guys. They're here for you in the description, and come and take me out. Come and show me some of your moves here. I want to see some of your action. So this is what I've got left today. So we had a few head shorts running this morning on the Hackers Live Zoom, and fortunately we had a big dump. So we closed a lot of the shorts. I've now added to Popcat. I added to Sui as well, and FARTCOIN trying to get some action going here. Theta's interesting. Make a short in play. Let's see if this is going to work. And then Giga, that's that scalp that I told you about at the start of the show. So that is what we got going on at the moment on LBank. Okay, so let's get into more stuff. So here's a clue, or here's a tip for everybody. Marty Party yesterday was saying don't buy memes. Okay, now I don't believe in that. I believe buy Ponky and Myro and Popcat and all these things. They are going to be money makers. They are going to be money printers. Okay, especially in terms of trading. Okay, that, I mean, for me, I love that shit. And James actually hit a Ponky. And what did you get? 30% move on Ponky yesterday or something stupid. And these things are absolute bangers. But if you're talking like investments and things like that, maybe it's a bit better to buy something that has something behind it. And Marty Party is making a little bit of sense here. He says quality SOL tokens to invest in instead of the meme coin casino rubbish. He obviously got rinsed, okay? Maybe he was on pump.fun too much, but he's talking Zeus. He's talking Pi. Now, that's funny because I actually always thought it was an absolute shit coin, but I'm not a fundamental person, so I stand to be corrected. Dupe, yes, we know that's a banger. Honey, don't know. Jito, we know. Radium, we know. Arweave, that's a banger, okay? And Wormhole, banger. Okay, so there's some proper tokens here for you guys to consider on the SOL ecosystem. And Immortal is posting that he thinks the bottom is almost in for SOL. He's saying 120 gets front run. So I looked at his chart earlier, and he's looking at, it looks like 160 to about 140 as his extreme lows there. And I thought, yeah, I mean, it's not a bad call. And what we're looking at here on the daily, as you can see, I've got a double bottom forming on my oscillator. Look at that. We got our reversal print the other day. Now we've got a double bottom. So potentially we've got a move to the upside coming on SOL, but that doesn't mean they can't send us down first for some kind of double bottom play and then send it higher. So in terms of the SOL trade, I'm staying in my SOL position at the moment, and I added a little bit more today on that dump. You can see I'm running Myro, and I've got AI XBT that I bought on the dump, and I bought a Bitcoin long there after that short that we got. I'm now in a Bitcoin long, so hopefully we get a little bit of action there on WeX at the moment. So in terms of levels for SOL, upside target for me, it's got to be this box. So anybody trading SOL, 184 to 189. That is pretty much where I want this trade to finish for me. That would be a nice upside move. And then we can look for a new one. So typically, if we do get a pump here, I'm expecting some kind of rejection in that area. It would be strange if we didn't reject in that 188 to 190 zone, 184 to 190 zone. It makes sense that that is a TP area. So probably going to be jumping out of SOL there. If there is a little bit more activity on SOL, your next reaction zone is going to be somewhere in that region. I would say around the 200 level. We got a lot going on in those areas there. I would expect a rejection if we do start ripping into that zone. Who said the AR chart is disgusting? Matty, bro, you should have seen that yesterday though. Wasn't it a banger, or is it fallen over again? Because we've really pumped, okay? Really pumped the other day. CVK says round trip from election pumps, flipping the breakout into supports. Yeah, okay. Did Ondo get wrecked? Guys, did Ondo get wrecked?
I don't think
I haven't looked at it. Yeah,
it's holding a 618. It's looking okay.
Yeah.
Still.
Guys, you're okay. You're okay. Relax on Ondo. Don't panic. Okay. Let's go. What's next? Ton. Now, this is it, guys. This is one of those that nobody talks about anymore. Like, when last did we speak about Ton? When last did you look at Ton, bro?
Yeah.
I mean,
I had an alert that went off on WeX, like Ton pumped 3%, but we're not really tracking it these days. Yeah.
So we haven't been tracking it, but Altcoin Scholar, now I don't know this account, but he says it's positioned for a huge rebound. Accumulation trends in ton price action is what he is seeing. Okay, so that's what he is saying. But, we're in one of those situations where when it's critical in altcoins, you actually got to pull out the magic. Okay, and you got to go bounce now or cut it off. Okay, and it's a simple process here in play. I just love that. It makes me so happy when you get to these areas. And here it is. This is the zone for TON right now. Look at this. I've got a macro trend in play on the weekly. We've got a weekly reversal print. There are signs that this thing could potentially want to reverse. Now, again, you don't want to bet the whole bag on this thing, but in terms of, a good zone, in terms of support for TON, from a lower time frame, a higher time frame perspective, you got 3.55. That is a nice support zone for you guys. If this thing starts moving with the market, there is potentially quite a clean move of about 24-25%, give or take, on TON. And what is your risk here? Your risk would be a close under that low. So you've got about a 5% risk, potential 25% upside here on TON. So you'd need Bitcoin to hold. You'd need that dominance to behave itself. But TON might be one of these dark horses that might actually start waking up and start pushing a little bit higher. Okay, so that is what we're going to be looking at there on TON coin. Look out for that. 3.55, potential move to 4.5, 4.6 is interesting to me. If that falls over, okay, then we might have to wait a week or 3. But if it falls over, I've got an absolute banger here for you. A 2.54, 2.55, that area there for me is going to be a huge bounce zone on this TON. Okay, so 2.58, 2.54, those types of levels there for TON makes absolute sense to me as a proper bounce zone if we hit that area. So something to look forward to if this thing falls over. Okay, something to look forward to on TON. Okay, that's TON. Let's see what else we got here. Well, not that. Okay, let's talk Sonic. So Dave, you don't like that picture, right? Let's talk Sonic here. And this has been obviously on the tip of our tongues. Did anybody get Shadow yesterday, that DeFi or the DEX on Sonic? And I see that thing did move up a little bit as well. So Sonic looking good here. We've got 58 million in 24-hour inflows into Sonic Labs just via D-Bridge. The stuff's going down. We know there's interest. And we've just had a very big dump in the market. And look at this thing. It hardly moved to the downside after that dump. So quite positive here. There's a lot of interest in Sonic, but I keep missing this opportunity. And I'm trying to be super patient. I don't want to chase this thing too hard. You can see at the moment on the 2-hour time frames, this thing is bearish. It is trying to tee us lower. So I'm trying to be as patient as possible with this thing. We're looking for that cash flow to come down. And what I want to see here on Sonic, there's 2 big levels for me that makes sense. First one is this 807 zone. That guy makes sense to me. And then I've got a massive region here, the 75. I've got a VWAP for you. I've got the 0.5, and I've also got a daily level. So we know this is quite a strong zone for Sonic at 75. What you want to do is try and tie this in with a reset on this 2-hour oscillator. So ideally what you want to see is a move like that, where they print a reversal to the downside, preferably tying it in with one of these levels here. So hopefully we get something like that. But for me, in terms of trying to be long on this thing, I can't be long here until this thing comes lower down into one of these zones here for us. And that is what I'm looking for. So I call it 81 and call it 75. Those are the big levels there for you guys that you want to see. And Syed says Sonic will come down like Arweave. James, did Arweave dump there? Can you check that chart there for us while we're talking? Did it sell off?
It came down a bit, but that was a massive pump. It's just a bit of a retrace. And it's doing its chop BS right now, but everything did this morning because Bitcoin was chopping all over, taking everybody out both ways. But no, it's still up quite a bit.
Okay, and I love this, guys. Now, we've been covering the Murad saga for the last few days. It was a lot. I mean, this guy took a lot of abuse here, Murad. Okay, he's the meme guy. For those of you that don't know, Murad is the meme guy. And Altcoin Gordon says the crypto markets move fast. So Murad in January says, in December, he says all-time highs in January. And then he says all-time highs in February. Okay, change his mind. And look at the bottom there. Murad is approaching you with an order from Chipotle Mexican Grill. Now, this poor guy, he got so much abuse because he was going on about memes, and all his memes that he was talking about and promoting, they all fucking absolutely collapsed. People got rinsed. I mean, Popcat did a number. I think Popcat did 90% or something stupid. All his memes got rinsed. Okay, then there was FUD out on this guy. Yes, sir.
Well, his famous saying everywhere is stop trading and believe in something. Yeah, believe in your bag going to fucking zero.
Pretty much.
But, I mean, this poor guy, and then some guy released some bullshit FUD on Twitter saying that he sold all his tokens on OTC. It was all some absolute bullshit.
That was a lot of work, though. Did you see the work they put into that? Because they actually forged emails and they printed it all out. And they made fake IDs. That was a well thought out set of FUD. Somebody was trying to short that thing and put that out simultaneously.
Yeah. So look, it did work in terms of that SPX 69 Giga. They were quite weak, okay? And then they did give us a hell of a move. Now, David called along on this XPX 69 the other morning. Okay, I actually got in a bit late, but it's still pumped for me. Are you still in this thing?
Yeah, added to it, and looking for TP2 and 3. So
where's your targets here on this SPX?
TP2 is going to be right into a neutral order block on the 12-hour, looking at around 80, 84, 85.
Okay,
and then nice. TP3 is right around $1, which basically is another anchored VWAP and a AMA as well.
Yeah. Okay, so banger, guys. Anyone sitting in this from the show the other day? Yeah, I mean, look, looking at the oscillators, this thing does tell me it could grind higher. So I wouldn't panic sell anything here just yet. I'd like to assume on a lot of these alts, especially after that move on BTC, that the lows are in for this move. So we are looking for a little bit higher until these oscillators go to the top before they need to start turning over. When we see the oscillators up here, we're going to start being very cautious again because we might start seeing a little bit of downside. So yeah, SPX 69 looks good. Okay, so good save there for Murad. And then who was saying Giga was dumping? It looks fine. Someone in the chats was saying it was dumping. Guys, you need to stop watching
that 30-second chart.
1 minute.
Yeah.
You can't watch 1 minute candle.
Come on.
You can't do that, bro. You give me a panic attack here. Okay, so Chart Hackers had an amazing Giga trade today on the live Zoom. We took a momentum trade on Giga. It was here. We took this trade this morning, and we had an absolute banger. Let's see if we got the Chart Hackers website here. Let's see. See if we got these guys. Yeah. Let's find this thing. There it is. We took it this morning. Okay, we got a Giga there. Bang. Okay, Giga 299% from our live Zoom. This was me calling it this morning. There it is. Okay, but yeah, it went down. Okay, so Giga, nice move, and now this might be round 2 for Giga. We are here on the zone. So what I'm typically waiting for now is a reversal on the 15 minutes. Now, this is the extremities of my degeneracy. Now, there's guys that like 3-minute candles, but I keep it civilized. I like the 15 minutes, you know? I keep it classy. But this is the absolute limit for me on my degeneracy. So 5-minute charts here. I've been 15-minute charts. We are looking for this reversal. When we see some kind of print like this on Giga, anything like that, on a nice level, that could give us a sign that there is going to be a little push to the upside. So you can see, I think they unfairly sold this thing. I think it was unfair, 14% to the downside. Okay, not great. But now we might get a move up. I'm not expecting new highs on this thing, but if they do push it up, maybe just a lower high before they start bringing it down to these types of levels. So we might see this play out this weekend. But in terms of Giga, if you're watching this thing, your 282, that type of level, that's your support zone that you're going to be watching. And I'm trading that thing. Like I said, I've opened a small position. It actually doesn't let you open a big position, funnily enough. And I'm limited to my size, $2,200 there on that size. You can see my SUI is about $16,000. That thing, hopefully that thing is going to keep grinding there for us. We haven't hit our TP yet. Dave, the maker short's looking good so far, bro. Theta, a bit of a problem. FARTCOIN, a bit of a problem. Okay, let's get into some of these. So here's SUI, guys. Obviously, this is relevant to me because I've got a preset TP on SUI here, and I actually was expecting to hit it this weekend, but now with this Bybit news, I don't know. I think a lot of guys got flushed out now. Maybe we might have to reload this thing and see what happens. But that's my current plan on SUI. I've got a TP at 3.66. And hopefully we get some kind of push. But how do we get there? So in terms of some levels that you guys can pay attention to, you can see SUI looks a little bit bearish on the 4-hour now. And the last time we turned bearish on the 4-hour, you can see it dropped and then it pumped up. Look at that. So it dropped and then it pumped up. So we might get something like that this weekend before some kind of sell-off. Well, I'm hoping we do so that I can take my TP. That is what we're going to be looking for. So in terms of support, 3.31 to 3.28. Watch that. That's going to be your first bounce zone there potentially on SUI. Then lower down, you've got this hacker zone, which is everything under the 618, just a little bit below that as well. And you're going to be watching 3.16, that type of region there. Those are your most reasonable bounce areas here for SUI. If the market starts dipping, that's kind of where you're looking for new entries. I wouldn't say there's a new entry now. I'd say it's pretty dangerous if you are trying to get into this thing long at the moment. Okay.
Yeah, and to speak on the SUI, so there's a conference on the 28th in Denver, for those of you guys that don't know. So Supra, which I've been talking about for a while, and 𝗬𝗎 are co-hosting an event. 𝗬𝗛𝗓 is going to be there. A lot of other tokens are going to be there, or CEOs of these companies. So with that being said, I'm pretty sure 𝗬𝗎 is going to have some kind of stage time. And if those opportunities come, those levels that Dylan just pointed out to you guys, I'd imagine 𝗬𝗎 is going to have a rip from that event. So just
nice, bro. Okay, so guys, you've got these levels that will be in Chartakers for you guys as well. Guys, I've got Theta coming. PMG George, bro, hang on there. It's coming, bro. I've teed this up. I really hope that Theta man is here. What's his name? Shakespeare's beard or something. Shakespeare's blade. What does he call himself? Shakespeare's knife, something like that. Okay. Hopefully he's going to show up. Now let's talk FARTCOIN, because I think we're going to get a bounce here on the FART. And I just wanted to run you guys through this. Now, the sell-off today was actually, it was a little bit aggressive. Okay. I mean, we've had a beautiful move out of FARTCOIN. There's been 3 trades for me on FARTCOIN, but the 2 that are notable were moves off the VWAP on the 15-minute time frame. We've got really big moves out of these things on the 15-minute reversals. Look at that. Then the second visit to that guy. Look at our reversal. We had our divergence print, and we had a beautiful pump on this FARTCOIN. Okay, so that's looking absolute banger for us. Then what I wanted to see was another dip onto support with a reversal on the 15 minutes. So I think we are close. If the market is going to hold for us and Bitcoin's not going to shit the bed, we should see something pretty soon on FARTCOIN. So between that was the zone number 1 and this was zone number 2, this 328. So look out here. It might be worth a little nibble in these types of areas here on this FARTCOIN. Let's see, because if this thing bounces, it bounces super fast, but it also dumps super quickly. So just in terms of what you can get out of it, that was a 15% bounce. The next bounce was a 20% bounce. So if we can get another bounce into resistance, maybe 12-13% out of this thing could be worth watching today. So just look for that divergence print. You want something like that. Okay, so you see this divergence marker here. You want something like that. So if we can print a higher low there, and then the price print a lower low, that should give us divergence onto that area. So 328, that's the extremity. I don't want to go much lower than that. 328 for the bounce on what's this called? FARTCOIN. Okay. 46 minutes. We're going well. Okay, guys, quick update on PopCat. This was also an absolute banger. I gave you guys this trade yesterday. Let me know in the chats if you guys were there. You were on Banter Plus, but let me know. Anyone that got PopCat yesterday, what else did we get? We got Floki yesterday, absolute banger long as well. That was a good mover. What else did we get yesterday? We got a few bangers, but PopCat was it was a slow burner, and then all of a sudden it absolutely ripped. But what I loved about PopCat today was on that sell-off. Look at that. This thing dropped into 237 perfectly here. VWAP trend 618, okay, for the bounce. So these things are nice. When you get these big sell-offs, you can always look for some kind of bounce play on these tokens. So I just use that as an opportunity to add a little bit to that position. Obviously, the risk here now is that we start losing the trend and then the market falls over. So that's going to be a problem. But other than that, if it holds the rising trend, and I would say for PopCat, if it holds 245, if it holds that area, we should be okay. So if we can just close above that 245, then we should be okay on PopCat. Just look out for that. Oscillator a little bit bearish still. We need that thing to hold and then start reversing for us. But that is what we're going to be looking at. And I played that earlier, okay? My wife didn't like that. I played that video earlier. She didn't like it. She's like, that's not funny. Okay, let's talk Brett. Okay, this is an interesting one. So Brett has woken up. Now, I got stopped out on a Brett short. It was a good area. It was a good setup. We like that. But what's happened here is Brian Armstrong from Base is obviously pumped about the court situation. He was also talking about meme coins the other day. And we know Brett is the main meme coin on Base. Okay, so there was a lot of energy behind this Brett move. And if you want to see what Brian Armstrong had to say from Coinbase, you can read his whole explanation as to why the SEC were wrong, etc., etc. Okay, I don't want to go through that whole thing for you guys, but that obviously translated into a massive Brett pump. Okay, so that is actually what's gone down. But in terms of what is going on with Brett, I think Brett has got a hell of a long way to go. But in terms of the future for Brett, what's the future? I think this thing does go up. I think this thing is at the bottoms, and I think this thing can go a lot higher. John says Brett is killing him. Don't worry, bro. It killed me too. Now, in terms of what do we do with this thing? So if we look at this on the daily, you can see this is printed bullish divergence as well. So on the daily time frame, on a bigger move basis, this looks pretty good to us. You might have a lot of fun in between, but in terms of saying, is the bottom potentially in for Brett? It's potentially in. Okay, so 382, I would watch that region. 382 as your main support here for Brett. You can see they closed above that 3 days in a row. 382. Lower down, we do have a very important level at this 32 region. So I don't want to write that off. But in terms of buying Brett as a spot play, as a big mover when the market wakes up again, if the market ever wakes up again, for me in this type of region, it seems like it needs to go higher. Okay, it seems like there's a lot more upside on this thing eventually. So there are targets for me that make sense. So anybody holding Brett spots, don't give up on this thing. Okay, I do think there is upside, and the numbers that you can look at, I wouldn't get too greedy over say 91, but in terms of targets, 64, 72, 91 makes sense, but it could take a hell of a long time for this to play out. You could easily see that before you start hitting those numbers. So yeah, Adam, it could be a huge trade. I don't want to give up on Brett. I think there is a little bit of potential. Where are you on Brett, Dave? What do you think about it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I saw the daily bullish divergence as well. Didn't really know about the whole Coinbase situation. I think, yeah, there's some hope for Brett, but that's not to say that these market makers aren't going to flush you guys out of your longs and then send it to the moon, right? So yeah, just watch out. I mean, long-term bullish.
I think these memes pump, bro. I really do. I really think they do. Okay, let's go. What else you got for us here, Dave?
Well, I mean, I was going to mention either the Supra conference or I kind of mentioned it a little bit there, but I have the actual flyer to show everybody.
Yeah.
If they want to see that.
Yeah, let's see. Let's pull it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so guys, this is the event. I do some research, or do your own research. Check this out. There's a lot of different CEOs and developers that are going to be going to this conference. I saw somebody in the chat said that he was going to be there as well. I wish I could be there, but just understand, the head engineering of IOTA is going to be there, so there's probably going to be some kind of pump on IOTA. We're going to be tracking these tokens and doing the TA on it, but Supra is hosting this thing, right? So a lot of people have been asking me, Dave, what's going on? What's the update with Supra? Like, you posted about it, what's going on? And so I'll kind of just keep you guys in the loop with what I'm seeing with Supra, right? So we have this horizontal support here. We also have two daily bullish divergences with a blue reversal dot. I love seeing that on the higher time frames. Okay, I've just been very patient here. I got in Supra right around 0.02, and I was essentially looking at this horizontal to hold. But that's completely fine. I mean, the deeper we go in the falling wedge on the macro, the bigger the move is going to be, right? So I've essentially taken this measured move here. I've duplicated it here. That's what we're looking for as far as the target goes. We could see another stupid dump, right? 15-20%. But also, just to kind of educate you guys on this token, is that the initial coin offering price was 0.004. So what that means is that everybody that had got in at 0.004 is sitting at currently like a 1.5x, right? Which is not that bad. But if you were an early investor in this guy and you saw your bags pump 1,300%, you're going to take some profits, right? And then just keep in mind too that this was December 8th, right? And so just a little bit of time here. They're hosting an event. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some stage time. I was able to capitalize on that Jupe event, like one of the biggest trades I've had this year. And I'm kind of sensing the same kind of vibes here, right? So we are at some kind of horizontal support. And so if you zoom in here a little bit here, there's two things that could happen. We're either going to go now, or we're going to dip just a little bit into the conference. And that could be a thing, right? The conference, there could be some kind of sell-off, kind of fake everybody out, but the announcement's going to happen. And I'd imagine this guy is going to have a massive move to the upside. By the time price breaks out of the falling wedge, there's going to be some FOMO. And the whole goal here is to get in before the actual move, right? And so that's what I've been doing. I've been building a small low leverage play on this on 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗪, but I've got a personal big spot bag on this guy, and I'm long-term bullish, right? So that's the update, Supra.
Yeah. Low leverage play, guys, or spot to play. I mean, do your own research, obviously, but yeah, it looks like there's a bit of alpha there for you guys. I want to talk 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗪 or 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 as well. I've got this one here, and we actually posted about it on Chart Hackers, but I just wanted to update everybody on 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗏 as well. I took quite a big look at this one yesterday in terms of resistance zones and things like that. And if we look at this thing, it is actually teeing up for quite an aggressive move here. You can see what's happened here. We've got our right shoulder coming into play, left shoulder, right shoulder, head, and that thing is now looking quite aggressive. We are pushing into our big 490 rejection zone. Okay, so that is a danger zone for us. And what I was saying yesterday, you need to be cautious on longs. Okay, you need to be super cautious on longs here until we start breaking above these types of areas. So we really want to see a push through and then our next move, and that is where we're going to have our next trade. But you can see in terms of 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗏, this thing is actually looking pretty bullish in terms of an inverse head and shoulders. So keep your eyes on this thing still. Maybe there's going to be some kind of consolidation under this level that you can pay attention to. And how do you do that? Well, you can do that on a lower time frame. So you're going to look for the typical degen play that we like to look for. Let's get you a clean chart here. And let me just give you an idea. When you see consolidation under a big zone, sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but then you can get some kind of trend break and you get some kind of pop. So you can see that's our big resistance area. You want to look for consolidation here, and then you want to try and play that breakout to the upside. So that could be a degen play for you guys. Just track the price action. Let it do what it needs to do here for a little bit. And let's see if it starts getting aggressive, then maybe play that breakout. Then there is something for the degens out there. But until then, just be careful at this resistance zone. And Bitcoin V-shaped recovery in process. Is it bouncing a little bit there?
I don't think so.
No, it's not. It's not. They're sending us to zero. They're sending us straight to zero. Okay, so guys, keep watching those levels. Let's do one more. Let's do Theta. I promised you guys Theta, and let's talk about it. So it was one of the best. It was Yusuf. Any update on the buyback hack? I think they sorted. They only got some of the money, from what I understand, and I don't think Bybit's going to just go down like that. I think you guys are going to be okay.
No, the CEO is all over it. He's all over Twitter. He's going to do a live, all this stuff.
Yeah. So I don't think
sure
there's
it's
anything
fine.
to worry
It's
about.
just a bunch of scare, right?
Yeah. I'm really not concerned about that. I've obviously got Bybit. I'm not concerned at all. Okay. Bullish divergence for Theta, guys, on the daily. It was one of the best performers today, but you can see now with the market sell-off, it's looking weak. But in terms of upside targets on the daily for Theta, I do like it at 1.66. That makes sense to me as an upside target there. Let's watch that area, 1.66. I think it can eventually get there. Obviously a little bit messy now with that sell-off. And you can see, I was dropping this in Hackers earlier today. I said trend break might squeeze a bit. Oscillators look like they want to reverse on lower time frames. And look, lo and behold, they actually play out. I mean, these oscillators again. So if you are playing breakouts, guys, remember, if you're playing these breakout plays, and these oscillators look like that, you are taking on a little bit of extra risk. I'm not saying don't play the breakouts, because sometimes they do give you that extra pump. So you can test breakouts. Just don't ape massive size on breakouts, because if you got an oscillator turning over like that, it starts giving you a warning sign saying just be careful with these breakouts. So that thing is turning over on the 2 hour. You'll find it's turning over on the 4 hour. So what you need to do now is let this thing reset. Let the oscillator reset. And your easiest way is just to bang out a trend, and you're going to look for some horizontals and a tie-in on your VWAP. And then you're going to see if you can get some kind of bounce out of this thing. So I would say realistically, based on where the oscillator is now and the price action, 1.3 looks like the best area for me at the moment on this Theta. That looks like a zone where you're going to be sniffing around, but you want to see this reset on that oscillator first. Okay.
Nice.
There we go, guys. It's Friday, so weekends are always a little bit tricky. You've got a mix of setups. You've got some shorts there. You've got some potential long zones of interest for you guys as well. Dave and I do a Sunday night session for Hackers. So we always break down the weekend and we tee up the next week. That has happened late on a Sunday. So if you guys want a piece of that, we are in Hackers late on Sunday. Dave, thank you, bro. Have a good weekend. See you later, Captain. James, thank you, sir. Catch you later. Guys, that's a wrap. Have a safe weekend. Don't overtrade. A little bit disappointing, this Bybit thing. I think it crushed another Friday dream. We had Uncle Donald crush it a couple of times. Now they're doing it with this. Let's see what happens. I think if that news gets outfudded and they suddenly say everything's fine with Bybit, I think we have a big pump. So something to look forward to maybe this weekend. Just make sure you survive along the way. Okay, see you guys later.